All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs, nerds, everything in between. You got a fandom, we're here to talk about it. I am, once again, your solo host, Joe. Way too many trailers to know. Will is still off on his wedding week, month thing. Well, he got married, guys. I mean, we're just going to let him chill, have some fun, have some peace, have some downtime. He will be back next week, I believe. Till then, we do have a bit of news, and then over the last 2 weeks, because I did take last week off myself, we got some trailers from both the Nintendo Direct, a Sony State of Play, and some other stuff I just kind of picked up along the way. Just because the link, we will probably not be able to get to comics this week. We will save that for next week. So let's jump right into the news. First off, Microsoft got leaked again. This is going to be sourced from TechCrunch, provided by Yahoo News. Writer of this article is Taylor Hatmaker. We do try to source our news if we possibly can. So, Microsoft is going to be approaching that deadline for the acquisition of Activision. However, we did have some leaks, possibly, and now they are confirmed. Um, this does not is nothing really new. Like, a lot of this is nothing really new. We know that Phil Spencer wants to buy Nintendo. He has already been Microsoft has already been left out of the room once by Nintendo before for trying to acquire them. Phil Spencer just really wants to buy Nintendo. And Nintendo's in such a lofty position to where they don't need to be bought. They don't need to be purchased. There's nothing wrong with them. They also want to buy Valve for solely for the fact that Valve made Steam, and Steam is one of the best gaming marketplaces known to mankind. Um, there was also other things, an Xbox roadmap that shows that they are going to be getting an updated version of the Xbox Series X, as well as other things such as a whole list of games. Now, a lot of these games being listed is Bethesda games. And people were up in arms because it was nothing but a list of Bethesda games. I believe they had like Doom Year Zero, DLC for Doom Year Zero, which I don't know what that means. I guess that's the opening war of Doom that happens like as right before Doomslayer went to Mars. So don't really know about that, but other things like Elder Scrolls or a remake of uh, Fallout 3 and updates to Starfield. So, there's stuff like that. There was also some brief talk about Microsoft wanting to buy the WB, but the WB wants them to just buy them, but the WB hang on to the IP. That way they can license out the IP. So Microsoft said no, because what that would do is put them into a Sony Marvel scenario where Marvel has to pay Sony to use the Spider-Man license. So that would be like Microsoft buying NetherRealm, but have to pay the WB and NetherRealm to be able to use Mortal Kombat rather than just using Mortal Kombat. So they are passing straight up the WB acquisition. Like, that just makes no sense. Um, Other than that, nothing too big. They are still kicking themselves because they did not think that Boulder Gate was going to kick the crap. Boulder Gate was going to do well. Um, and Boulder Gate just totally trounced Starfield. That is not a big surprise to me because, guys, let me be completely honest. Starfield, it looks to be a fun game. And I prefer space and lasers over swords and sorcery. But this is not a Fallout 3. This is not a Fallout New Vegas. This is just another Bethesda game where stuff is glitched, stuff is big and empty. You collect 50,000 space bottle caps and every single teddy bear across the known galaxy. Starfield, it just does not seem fun. I'm sure some of it is, and I'm sure it's a fine game. But you're not, everybody in Bethesda is chasing that New Vegas Fallout 3, and that's just not going to happen again. Like, we've moved on from that kind of stuff. And there are people out there. I'm once again saying Starfield is a fine game. It's just not as good as Boulder Gate 3. And being someone who is not into Swords of Sorcery, I am not a D&D person. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. My Boulder Gate experience thus far has been fantastic. But I do not know how to make a D&D character to save my life. So I went to Withers, which is like some sort of zombie skeletal dude in your base camp, and reset everybody back to level 1, and then used a online guide on how to make these characters, because I have no experience. And even with that, I am still having a blast because the characters are charming. There's plenty to do. The world's populated, and you're constantly doing one thing from another. From what I understand with Starfield, you go to a planet, and it's kind of like beginning Snowman's Sky. There are things to do, but they are few and far between, and it's going to take some patching and a lot of more content installation to get where we are. So there's that. So this is just like kind of a poke in the eye. It is not as damaging as the last time Microsoft got leaked. Like, Phil Spencer's like, this sucks, but you know what? This is we learned from this last time. We only got ways to improve. So next up on our list, present and share screen, and Square Enix. This is being brought to us by PlayStation Lifestyle. Story by Christopher Castellaw. Square Enix new president, I say new, he was installed earlier this year, last year, has a plan to upgrade some of the franchise's current AAA IP. So the reason why this is going on is because in their eyes, in Square Enix shareholder eyes, which seem to think that everything's going to do $1 trillion, they have lost $2 billion in value because of Final Fantasy 16. So Takashi Kiryu has revealed plans that the publisher will be grabbing existing properties and trying to find which ones can be upgraded to AAA status. He showed the strategy shoring up profits during a Q&A meeting. The biggest issue is that, yes, Final Fantasy 16 is what they do not consider profitable, which is dumb. Like, I really wish video game publishers and developers, their shareholders, would get their heads out of their butts and realize we made $1 billion. Fantastic. But we didn't make $2 billion as a failure. I remember, and this is going to be one of those back in the day things, but I remember back in the day where it was a big deal to sell $1 million worth of a video game, or 1 million copies. Yeah, $1 million worth of video games. 1 million copies is a bit much. So $1 million worth of copies. There we go. And that was a big, big thing. Like, it was amazing when you did that. Now these shareholders think that every video game's got to be a $5 billion AAA franchise with everything under the sun and a lot of microtransactions and whatnot, so that they can continue to milk things. Like Final Fantasy 16, which I played and beat, was very fun, very adult, more of an action RPG than a standard Final Fantasy. Does not detract from the fun. I got my money's worth. I am happy with what I got. I am looking forward to the DLC we will be getting. But this cost Square Enix a lot of money. So they are looking to just try and find what IPs in the Sony world that they can make money off of by bumping it up to AAA. Now, they do have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming down the line. If you're looking on YouTube, you get to see a handful of some of the bigger gamers like Maximilian Dude or Yo Video Games, which is a subsidy of Yo Maximilian Dude, Gaming Partners, Gaming Buddy, Friend channel thing. Probably Easy Allies and most definitely the Completionist. They got to go play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They got to play an older build, so what they got to play is not completely finished, but nevertheless impressive. I have no doubt Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to do a ridiculous amount of money, but they need to be looking at what they can bring up to AAA status. I don't believe Tomb Raider is going to be that anymore. I don't think Tomb Raider is going to be that profitable anymore. The Lara Croft Tomb Raider franchise came and petered back out again with its newest trilogy. If I could get anything to be upgraded to AAA status, it would be the Crystal Dynamics Legacy of Kain franchise. I would love a AAA remake of Soul Reaver, or just the flat out Legacy of Kain that could lead into Soul Reaver and fix a lot of problems that the stuff that the game had. The biggest issue with that is that a lot of the actors aren't, or some of the actors are not around. Tony J is no longer around to do the big god of everything. I don't know how old Simon Templeton is. I hope he's in good health and be able to come back to do Kane's voice. Michael Bell, I'm fairly certain doing okay and still around. Voice of Raziel for those other ones, also the voice of the original Leonardo, and quite a few G.I. Joes. And then, just it's good that they are trying to examine other properties that could be potentially AAA, but their sights are way too lofty and they want to line their pockets too much for certain things to be considered a failure when, like 5 years ago, whatever Final Fantasy 16 hold in would have been perfectly acceptable. But we can actually elaborate on that a little bit more. So give me 1 second. Switch over to our next news item. There we go. Screen share. So, now we are looking over here. This is once again brought to us by PlayStation Lifestyle. This is written by Zarmina Khan. Square Enix loses $2 billion in value since Final Fantasy 16, analysts are concerned. Square Final Fantasy 16 once again did not meet high sales expectations. Square Enix previously said the PS5 exclusive sales did not meet high end. Flooding the market with an unfinished or bad or untested game is not a great move. He's played with Marvel Avengers and Forspoken and the Dealfield Chronicles and such games. Marquee Capital analyst Yi Ji Zai wrote that investors in that company have become concerned with the development. I'm kind of, as I already reiterated, the game's fine, the game's fun. Just, you gotta quit thinking they're gonna make $5 billion every time a big name comes out. Surely this Final Fantasy was very different than the other ones, as I've already stated. People are just greedy. They are just greedy, plain and simple. I mean, they just gotta expect less, and the easier you lower the bar, the better off you will be. Not in everything, but most definitely in video games, your game makes $1 billion or almost $1 billion, you're still way better off than 99% of us. I'm sorry you lost $2 billion in revenue, but you kind of do that for yourself when you think everything's going to break in this amount of money. This was a very, very adult game. I will say that. But the cast worked really hard on it. The developers worked really hard on it. A lot of time and effort was put into this game. And, it's a shame that this is happening. So, that being said, we are done with all of our news. We're going to hop into all these trailers. All these trailers. Oh my God, there's so many trailers. So, let me get right into it. I will mute myself and
A multi-layered RPG full of rich stories awaits in Saga Emerald Beyond. There are 6 heroes to choose from. A young man who fights with sentient puppets. A witch disguised as a crime-fighting duo chasing down a mysterious organization. A songstress mech who lost her voice and body. And King of Darkness, who was recently reawakened. Select a hero, then follow their journey through 17 interconnected worlds as they strive to achieve their goals. How the story unfolds is in your hands. The choices you make can unlock different paths, more than ever before seen in the Saga franchise. Fight in timeline battles, turn-based combat in which turn order is crucial to victory. Use special techniques to control the order of actions, or activate team combos to swing the tide of battle in your favor. Saga Emerald Beyond launches on Nintendo Switch next year.
all right, so that's not too bad. Saga Frontier. I may give that a shot. I am not the biggest Saga fan, but not a lot of people really give the Saga series a chance. I mean, I'll definitely give it a shot if I can. With all the video games I got going on right now, I'm going to be backlogged like you wouldn't believe, which is a little rare for me. Not really a lot to say on that for me, mostly because I don't have a lot of experience with Saga. My little sister's played them, I think. I think they're an action RPG. They kind of remind me of the Trails series, which we'll get to that later. Like I said, just not a lot for me on this particular one. So let's turn into the next one.
Games rated E to M.
All right, that was Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. That is a remake from the GameCube Paper Mario. This and I can actually speak to. This is one of the most highly admired and highly anticipated things to come off the GameCube. The Switch is doing a pretty good job of taking things off the GameCube and Switch and bringing them over. I really, really enjoyed Paper Mario Origami King. In fact, I think I'm still working on that game now that I think about it, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And my little sister is absolutely thrilled with the Paper Mario series. She loved all of them, even the bad ones. So she is really looking forward to this. My only complaint about, if anything, on this is doesn't even really have to do with this. It's the fact that we can get this game taken off the Switch, but we can't get a Twilight Princess Wind Waker port to the Switch. Like, I'm wondering why they have not done that, especially the Wind Waker HD version. But I digress. So, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I can't wait to try it on my own. I know my sister cannot wait either. We are both having a lot of fun with what's coming out on the Switch. Will be coming out on the Switch. We got this and Super Mario RPG. What can I say? This just looks like a lot of fun. Looks gorgeous. I think the up-res looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to play it. So, moving on over to the next game. Put me back on there.
Liberate your kingdom. Reclaim your destiny.
'Tis a grievous tale which speaks of Fevrith, one of stolen destiny, stolen minds, and stolen nations. Yet as the world stands consumed by immense evil, a fallen prince shall rise again. Ring of lighting his path.
Is the Ring of the Unicorn, ancestral treasure of Cornia's royal lineage. Legend speaks of your ancestors wielding it to purify evil. Yet the answer is clear as day now. The path before us is laid bare, and all that remains now is to walk it. Walk it I will, Mother.
Freely traverse an expansive world. Gather new allies, forge your bonds, and lead the liberation to glorious victory. Cultivate a grand army with over 60 unique characters, from humans and elves to massive beasts and heavenly angels.
Today marks our first foray into the mists of despair which hang heavy over our home. It may take days, months, or even years, but I shall see the duties of my bloodline fulfilled.
Atlas and Vanillaware present the rebirth of tactical fantasy RPGs. Unicorn Overlord. Available March 8th, 2024.
They always want to try and thwart me with these things. So that's Unicorn Overlord. I'm not much of a tactics game person, guys. That's actually more my sister, or we both watch Let's Play videos. Like, I can do them. I am not great at them, like, not in the least. Looks interesting. If anything, I will definitely praise the visuals. It looks very beautiful for the artwork. Music seems outstanding. I just, like, not a tactics guy. More power to anybody that is. I hope you have a great time playing the game. Vanillaware and FromSoft, I think is what they said. I think. Anyways, looks okay. Again, very visually gorgeous. Moving on over to the next video. We get a monkey's paw. You guys wanted it. F-Zero to return. We get F-Zero to return, but with a twist.
The first F-Zero game returns as a 99-player battle royale. F-Zero 99. Race on classic F-Zero courses with machines from the original Super NES game. Tear through courses in high-speed races, but be careful. Your power meter will decrease if you crash into pilots or guardrails. If it hits 0, you're out. You'll need to avoid collisions and conserve your power meter to stay in the race. Feeling risky? Spend some of your power meter for a temporary speed boost. You can also collect super sparks, which appear when machines collide, to boost up to a special path called the Skyway. It's your best chance at bypassing your rivals and jumping into a higher position. Complete goals while you're racing to unlock cosmetic options for your machine. "99 players, 1 winner." It's time to race your way to first place. Because F-Zero 99 will be available exclusively for active Nintendo Switch Online members later today.
All right, so that was F-Zero 99. Like I said, we asked for the return of F-Zero. We kind of got a monkey's polish, but also at the same time, we didn't because, from what I understand, this is outrageously fun and very addicting. But all the 99 games that have come out, Mario 99 and Pac-Man 99, that has done nothing but be fun. So I really, really hope people are enjoying it. I just won't currently because I am currently saving money for other things I am doing. So I have not renewed my Nintendo Online subscription. So I can't play it myself, but it's F-Zero. So I know it's going to be ungodly hard and ungodly fast. Moving on over, we got some Princess Peach stuff. So let's see what we got.
A loyal toad presented a flyer advertising a show School Theater. Princess Peach and some toads went to go see it, but then the Wicked Grape and the Sour Bunch suddenly made their grand entrance and took center stage. Now it's up to Peach and the theater's guardian Stella to save the play and the day. This perfect performance has become a terrible tragedy. Luckily, Peach can use the power of Stella's ribbon to face off against the Sour Bunch. The ribbon alone won't always cut it, though. So let's do this. Whoa, Peach transformed into Sword Fighter Peach. By transforming, she can use fantastic show-stopping abilities. Fend off the Sour Bunch with sensational swordplay. Can Peach save this performance and its performers? There are more stolen shows to save. Valuable artifacts from this museum have gone missing. Become Detective Peach, investigate clues, and track down who done it. Desserts have been snatched from this sweets festival. Turn into Patissiere Peach and save it from a sugar crash. The Sour Bunch got their hands on this martial arts school. Become Kung Fu Peach and take it back from these foul fiends. Many other transformations are just behind the curtain. The stage is set. Our leading lady is ready for the spotlight. Princess Peach, showtime. Makes its debut on Nintendo Switch March 22nd. Pre-orders begin to Nintendo eShop.
All right, so I will say this, the Kung Fu Peach, someone by now has had to loop that parry kick thing and send it over to Justin Wong. Like, I guarantee that's a joke. Somewhere on the internet already, someone's done that. Like, they've had to. I don't know if I'll give that a shot. I mean, I'm not to say I'm not interested, but this is one of those, maybe my sister will play it before I will, and I'll grab it from her afterwards if she doesn't buy it digitally. But one of those that's kind of in your wheelhouse, but you also know I don't exactly need to drive it right at this moment. Give it a shot, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it looks fine. I mean, it looks decent. I'm not going to knock it. It's just one of those, like, I could play other things. But speaking of things I'll definitely play, I do have two very special videos that I found from the Japanese Direct that I do want to highlight. One in particular because I really do think I'm going to import it. But we're switching over to the PlayStation State of Play, as well as some extra stuff I found, most notably the trailer we're going to be looking at, which is the Cyberpunk cinematic trailer, because 2077 did just get its 2.0 update. I plan on starting a brand new game this weekend under the 2.0 rules, so God only knows what I'm in store for. But Phantom Liberty is starting up as of next week, so I will get to do my very best with Idris Elba and a whole cast of other characters in there. So let's take a look at the cinematic trailer.
In 2077, how do you win when a deck is stacked against you? You go get burned. If you want to hold the winning hand, you need to become stronger, faster, better. So who you know and who you can trust. That's the ace up your sleeve. The more you have, the more you stand to lose. So get ahead and play. Just don't forget, the game is fixed.
There go the J. I am a grave in the way. Whether 22 or the 3A. That is 60 ways for you to die. Best the queen bitch and go get a skate.
PlayStation.
So I cannot wait. Cannot wait. I am so excited for that. I love Cyberpunk so much. I got sick earlier this month. For those of you that do not know, I had to stay home most of the week because of it. And as a result, I just played Cyberpunk 2077 nonstop. Like, I lived in Night City more than I did in my room. It's 2.0 update. I don't know what it has in store for me, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I've already beaten the game twice, so I got 2 of the 3 endings that you can get now. And I'm looking forward to starting a new game under the 2.0 banner, as I said earlier. But with my game that I still have the finished out version, storyline wise, I am going to do Phantom Liberty under that save. Then I'll do Phantom Liberty under the other save. So I'm just really, really looking forward to it. Plus Idris Elba. I mean, the man is Knuckles the Echidna. So, I mean, what more do I have to say about that? He's been other things I'm aware. But mostly Knuckles the Echidna. So, moving on over. I'd be remiss to do the state of play and not talk about Spider-Man. So, Spider-Man 2, new trailer. This is going to be looking at the costumes, I believe, and the new way costumes affect everything. As well as some other stuff. Maybe if you know where to look, most definitely will be buying this. Most definitely will be playing it, maybe even streaming it if I can get the time. Work's kind of a thing right now for me, so Spider-Man. If I can just swing again all through the city, it's Scarlet either versions. There's 3 different versions now, 2 Bens and a Kane. I'll be good because I love me some Scarlet Spider. So let's check and see what this has in store for us. All right, so the new costumes look legit. I cannot wait to play this game. I cannot. Also, Miles Tokusatsu suit. For those of you unaware, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai. He has a Tokusatsu suit. If you're a fan of Kamen Rider Amazon or Amazons from Amazon Prime, he has a finishing maneuver that's unique to that suit. And it's Kamen Rider's Amazon's Daisetsudan, the giant big slice. with lightning around it, or possibly Rider Chop. So that's interesting. I wonder if different suits now mean you also have different finishers. I mean, what am I going to say, guys? This is a day one buy for me. If I was goofy enough, I would take a day off the weekend, take 2 days off work just to web swing and play alone, but no video game is worth taking a day off for, at least not for me. I work in a hospital setting. I can't afford to do that to my team. But day one purchase, hands down, like I can't even begin to express how much I want to play this. So let's keep on moving over. We're going to be looking at the Honkai Star Rail trailer that dropped. I know nothing about this other than it's the sci-fi trailer. The sci-fi cousin of Genshin Impact. Maybe I'll play it because it's sci-fi RPG. I don't know. We'll take a look.
What was present? I called out to you and you came. The future is like a labyrinth. Every divergence is merely an inducement. There is only one real path. You and I are each other's destiny.
I mean, if it's free, like Genshin Impact, I'll give it a shot. It looks interesting. It looks pretty. Pardon. Maybe. Like I said, that's going to depend on price point for me. Hold on, real quick. Okay, better. Hopefully, I'm not coughing into the mic. So like I said, that's a firm maybe. So don't really know what to make of that. Like I said, I tried Genshin Impact, wasn't my thing, but I'm also not a big Breath of the Wild person. I'll be the first to admit it. If a game is super big and gives me no direction of what to do, I'm really not going to enjoy it. I like having a little structure to the game. I like to be slightly linear with some branching pathways and exploration, but just not go explore it. Eventually, you'll find the main story. I don't want to do that. Looks like this may be a little bit more up my alley. Plus, it's got the future thing. I mean, good things happen when trains are in space. Galaxy Express 9999, most definitely one of them. Tokuger, they got trains. It's in the space of the imagination, but trains in space. Kamen Rider Deno gave us Takeru Sato, who's one of the best young actors in Japan. He's the only thing that makes Rurouni Kenshin worth it. So, trains. Space trains usually equal good things. So we'll look at that. Next up, get rid of that. Look at that. Now, as I said prior to setting some stuff up, I am a big fan of the Tales series. This is Tales of Arises Beyond the Dawn. This is a DLC for a 2-year-old game, which is very interesting. I guess this is going to be like a interlude between Tales of Arise and the maybe announced Tales of Arise 2. TGS is literally happening right now, so Bandai Namco could be announcing Tales of Arise 2. It's happened before, but it's very unusual that a two-year-old game that is no longer being worked on is getting a DLC. So we'll take a look at that, see what this is in store for us.
One year has passed since the end of the great conflict between Dana and Rena. Our journey continues.
There she is! Don't let her get away! After her!
A gig all here. Out here after her, there is a lore.
Nice to meet ya.
The truth is that people will always doubt, hate, and reject. If we go our separate ways, we won't cause each other any problems. And I'm in no pain.
Are you hungry? If you are, I can fix that.
The day is ending, but my nerves are calm.
How could the hero of Dana defend this abomination? I don't get it. Whose side are you on anyway?
All differences must be erased. Once there are no differences, there will be... just for a little longer.
I mean, I'll definitely give that a shot. I love Tales of Rise, or as I like to call it, Shield Mom and Pals. So, yeah, I have no problem getting that. November 9th. I don't think there's anything coming out November 9th that I want to play. So, maybe. I mean, I still got to beat Tales of Rise, but I'm in the back half of the game, so that shouldn't take me more than 20 hours. That isn't that long in the grand scheme of things. All right, next up, we are looking at a PSVR 2 game solely for the fact that it is Ghostbusters related. So, give me one moment. We'll get everything set up. But yeah, looking forward to it. Don't know why he's doing that. Wish I knew. Use this tab instead. All right, so let's take a look at Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord for PSVR 2 and see just what we got going on.
Welcome to the Ghostbusters. You might be new here, because working together you do the best. Luckily, you'll have access to the latest Ghostbusting gadgets. If You can earn them. We're talking turrets, shields, decoys, and so much more.
Throw your trap. Whoa!
Before you'll be ready to take on the Ghost Lord.
Rise of the Ghost Lord.
Oh yeah, and these guys, mini puffs, they can be a real pain in the...
Yeah, no, if my buddy gets that, I will definitely give that a shot. That looks like a ton of fun. Not a big fan of VR myself. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's one of those that are left in my buddy's house because I can definitely not afford that. But I do love Ghostbusters. I am a Tennessee Ghostbuster. I do Ghostbustery things. Next month's going to be so busy. So busy. I need to get everything squared away. When you realize next month is October and you're part of a Ghostbusting charity community, you finally remember you'll have something almost every week, indoor or outdoor, in a full flight suit with Proton Pack. Anyways, moving on. We went for Ghostbusters. Let's move on to another piece of some of our childhood. Let's see what Inspector Gadget's got going on.
Gadget, the situation is serious. The city is in the hands of mad.
Wowzers! Right away, Chief. Go, Gadget roller skates!
We believe the only way to...
Is this big red button? You really mustn't. The machine is broken.
A mad agent escaped with parts from the machine. Ow!
Well done, Uncle Gadget.
Let's go! Ha-ha!
All right, so that was Inspector Gadget. I was kind of hoping to be a solo adventure game, but it being a party game doesn't seem too bad. Hopefully, it will have online play. I'm down for it. It's Inspector Gadget. I mean, the only bad part is Don Adams doesn't have any voice work in it because sadly he's long passed. But they got a pretty good sound like for this, and it's just Inspector Gadget. I mean, what am I going to do? Say no? It's a crime. It's a crime if you don't play the Inspector Gadget's game. Don't be a part of that. Unless you're Dr. Claw. Even then, you should probably still play the game. All right, so next up, the last bit of the stuff from the English content side of things. We are moving on over to one of my favorites. Legends of Hero, they are having a new game coming out that's going to start a new arc in the Legends of Hero franchise. I've always been a fan of this kind of stuff. Played this when it was Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel on the PSP and the Vita. And hopefully I can play this on the Switch when it comes out sometime next year. We
In my line of business, I deal with so-called bad people on the regular. I'm willing to take work from hayway, thugs, and hell, even the society. My door's open to them all. Not you, though. You're a special kind of... You know full well I'm not like the cops or bracers. I do things my own way.
You have to understand just how much that memento means to me.
Stay out of this, old fart.
Now may Arusha watch over us.
You are a valued external tester for our company.
Come on, Theo. Zeros.
Even I can't handle a job like this alone.
Another time, perhaps, then.
Same to you. You are just so frustrating sometimes.
Won't be able to count on the guild this time. I'll need another play.
That was awesome. You and your friends really are quite something.
Come on, up to it. Let's go.
Let's do it then. Sharksville, the Krengel's all yours.
Pseudo-Aeon resonance control successfully enabled.
The walking corpse still has some spunk left.
Shut your damn mouth, Spriggan!
I won't let it happen. I won't let anyone damage the place she holds so dear.
I care little as to how this ends, so I will leave the decision to you.
It is at the heart of everything, the foundation upon which all else exists.
Life is dull if everything goes the way you want it to. Isn't that right?
My life's been a living nightmare for more than a decade now.
No, you can't!
So how does it feel? Tell me!
You picked the wrong day to mess with me!
The Legend of Heroes, Trails Through Daybreak.
From here, a new trail begins. Coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC.
All right, so yeah, that's the new Trails game. I'm gonna get it. Just that's another instant buy for me. Like the combat system. The main dude has a swimmer that does a rider kick. Always a bonus for me. I just like the Trails universe. It seems fun. The anime was really good that came out earlier this year. I want to see how this ties into the rest of everything else. I want to see if this is like before something or after Trails of Azure or Trails of Cold Steel. Let's see if this is like well after it, or these descendants, or these ancestors, or these adventures happening concurrently with the other titles. I just want to play it. It just seems like a lot of fun. Okay, we are slowly winding down. We got 2 more videos for you guys. These are from the Japanese Nintendo Direct. These are 2 things that more than likely I am going to want to import. So let's check out the first one. This one, if it's the right one. Yeah. So some of you may recognize this one if you remember Adult Swim way back in the day. This is this game. So let me get me pulled up and muted, and we'll play the.
Shinnosuke! Shinnosuke!
ヒロシの実家近くの村にやってきた野原一家。自然の中での暮らし。またあったね。そこではのんびりとした時間が流れます。 ある日、墨まみれになった城についていくと、そこは時間が止まったかのような炭鉱の町。炭鉱で働く人と一緒に湯船に浸かったり、食堂の新メニュー開発を手伝ったりしながら、次第に街に溶け込んでいきます。時には街をうろつく不穏な影を見ることも。現実と不思議な街の2つの世界を行き交うしんちゃんの不思議な毎日が始まる。クレヨンしんちゃん墨の街の城はこの冬発売。
All right, so that looks pretty fun. Just a good, fun Crown Shin Chan game. Probably some mini games. It kind of reminds me of Crown Shin Chan of Spirited Away. I guess that's the best way of putting it. I don't know exactly what you'll be doing, but you know, it's one of those where I'll maybe import it. I do have a Japanese eShop account, so maybe I'll get me some yen cards and buy that and check it out in due time. But the final one we're having tonight is something that caught my eye. So this is a game called Medie Bakeru. If you were a kid back in the day with Nintendo 64, you may remember a game called The Adventures of Goemon 64. I played it to death. My little sister absolutely loves Goemon. So this game caught my eye because it gave me very much Goemon vibes. The only difference is you're not a ninja in this one. You are a taiko drum player. But the sense of adventure and some of the goofiness and some of the stuff that happened in Goemon 64 seems to be happening here. So this was my big highlight of the night. And I'll be sharing that with you in just a second.
これは本でのお話。みんなの世界とは違って、俺たちの世界にはおとぎ話のが本当にいるんだ。これは相手の俺の最初の冒険の
All right, well, it looks like the studio kicked me out. So let's try running that video one more time. My apologies if you guys have already seen if it ran fine the first time. I just want to make sure we got it correctly. All right, that was the last trailer of the night. Mamede Bakiru. I am definitely going to import that some way, shape, or form. I cannot wait enough for that. Also, I believe the character's voice actor is young Naruto, if I'm not mistaken. That just looks like a fun game. And it's an action game, so I don't need to read too many things into it. My Japanese is improving, but still it's one of those you know what to do kind of games rather than slog through 50 screens of tutorial. So guys, that brings our episode to a close. Thank you for bearing with me through some of the technical difficulties. We will be back next week, I believe, both with Will and I. A few shout outs. Please go look at Vaughn at Big VZE, I believe is what he goes with. Does some beats, talks movie trailers and whatnot. Christopher Gully over at Bird's Eye View. Please go watch his show. The man works hard, and his show is fantastic. Also, you can catch Will over there as a co-host, as a panelist there. Rick's Comic City, where we go and get our comic books, and I spend more money than I need to usually over there. Over at the Clarksville location over in Donaldson. And also, by all means, guys, please go to the library. And if you can't get a book at the comic store, hit the library. Go read a banned book. Go read any of the books in the library. Libraries are good for you. Even if you need it, you can go download Libby, which is the library checkout app, or give you a free e-reader where you can read the book there. Just go read a book. Other than that, guys, we will see you next week. And I will give my rundown on some Cyberpunk. I will give my rundown on a couple of the other games I'm playing, still doing some WrestleQuest every now and then. But Cyberpunk's going to take up most of my time. You can see me over at the Columbia Armory tomorrow for a little bit. And then God only knows, guys, Ghostbuster October's coming up, and I'm a Tennessee Ghostbuster. So I'm going to be everywhere all through the month of October. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Take it easy.